everyone, and welcome to another Monday Motivation. I'm your host, Daniel Krakowski, joined as always by Goran Vesovic.
Oh, thanks for not adding any more thanks to it. I was getting kind of too hyped up, but
yeah, sometimes you pull it back a little bit so no one's
actually, you know what?
You come back harder.
Screw it. Call me the ping pong champion, and Dario is the second in command.
Is that how that went?
Yes, that's how that went.
Okay, good. So yes. Ping pong is now a thing at our office. It's a lot like the Google campus, and
it's always been a thing. But the funny thing is when we started, you know, me, Ryan, and Dario, we went and got a ping pong table, played ping pong. And they were like, hey, the bigger we get, the more ping pong tables we're going to get. But actually the opposite happened. We got bigger, and then all of the fun and everything got sucked out, and somehow we didn't play ping pong anymore. We didn't do anything fun. And then like a month ago, I was like, you know what? So
time for fun.
Time for fun. I got the Wii out of storage, set it up, so now we have a Wii tournament going on. Got the ping pong table out of storage. It's right in the front because we don't care. Storage,
huh?
Yeah.
What kind of storage do you keep that in? Is that self-storage? Is that
kind of. It's at the Bonnie Jean building, which does have individual storage units. But
Got it. So
anyways, yes, the importance of fun in the workplace cannot be overstated, understated. I think it's bringing everyone's morale, daily morale, up.
Oh, no question. The operations staff, for sure. The agents are in the field a lot, we hope, not just at home watching TV.
Yeah, but they can come in anytime and you know, get a game of ping pong. Challenge me, challenge Dario, put some money. I don't know. We'll see. Actually, I was just thinking that I'm going to do a social media campaign to do a ping pong tournament here at VSM office with a cash prize. So if you guys like it, I think Daniel likes it because he's a huge competitive person.
I am. I've just been crushed at ping pong. There's going to be like 4 Chinese kids in here just shutting everyone out.
Well, yes. So stay tuned for that, everyone. Watch out for our social media. There's going to be a sign up shortly. Hopefully we'll have probably like a 3 to 4 week tournament. Double elimination or maybe single, best out of 3, I'm thinking. Cash prize, maybe like $2,000-3,000, you know?
Yeah.
Some big dough. The following people cannot play. Gennady cannot play. Brad Williams cannot play. No ringers. You can only be the coaches.
Right, exactly.
And or do side bets.
There it is.
Anyways.
So some fun stuff to do. And, you know, Goran, I actually didn't give him a nickname today on Monday Motivation, which is rare.
Yep.
But Goran oftentimes refers to me as the man with the plan. And I think that's extremely important to have. And we did a little bit of training today, and that's kind of one of the major things that we talked about is having a system, having very, very specific ideas and methodology behind everything that you do to produce some sort of result. And as Gary Keller says, you know, a lot of times if you're just trying to be creative in the way that you're structuring everything that you do, you find yourself in that position where I'm sure we've all heard someone who owns their own business say at some point, you know, this year I'm gonna refocus. I'm gonna change the focus of my business, and I'm gonna do this. And that's just like a short, easy way of saying we're starting over. I'm starting over from scratch. What I was doing didn't work, or the market has shifted, and now I'm doing something completely different.
Right.
And what's really nice about having a plan is, in such an instance, if you do see a market shift, if you see something else taking place that causes you to change your course of action, you're making an adjustment. You're not starting from scratch. You just kind of change course a little bit. And that's a lot easier to do, and it's a lot more efficient, and allows you to keep growing. And I mean, I'm sure you felt more than most that starting, you know, kind of changing the trajectory of the business a little bit is easier than starting a brand new business over again.
I think so. I mean, what we're looking right now, you know, me, Dario, and Ryan, for example, is looking to acquire businesses that are not, you know, very early stage or startups, but they've, you know, probably like 1 to 3 years into it, just because that startup stage is, I feel like, the hardest, and putting everything together so much harder than, you know, changing a few things within an existing business, because you already have those processes in place, you have the people in place, you have kind of a team Now you just need the right coach to make the right plays in order to execute. So yes, I do think 100%. Sometimes it doesn't seem like that because people make change harder than it needs to be. They're always, put it off, or they don't want to do the inconvenient things that need to be done. So that's why it seems harder.
Absolutely.
But necessary.
And when you're putting a plan together, of course, it starts with having a goal in mind. So once you have your goal established, I can't think of an industry that doesn't have some sort of community that exists within it where they talk about the challenges, things that work, things that don't.
Right.
And whether that's an online forum of some sort. So for real estate investing, Bigger Pockets is a great resource for a lot of people.
Shout out biggerpockets.com.
You can get a lot of information from there, and you can get an idea of a plan. I think everybody knows the idea from Bigger Pockets, who's in real estate, of generate a list of X number of properties that you think might be viable for you to buy, mail to them, everybody, get them to call you, track your results, find out what your percentages of callbacks are, find out what your percentages of meetings set then from those phone calls, and then deals closed, etc. So the path is really, really clear, and it's really, really important to have that because a lot of us creative people in general, which I believe is mostly who's attracted to creating their own businesses, we just kind of want to fly by the seat of our pants and figure it out as we go.
Most entrepreneurs.
Right. But for the most part, it's already been done, and I think you can be creative within the plan in general. So this is kind of what I pose to the agents today. And I think it really does a good job illustrating the point that I'm trying to make. As
part of our weekly brokerage meetings.
Yes. So we had a process where we're communicating with potential buyers and mostly tenant prospects who come to us. And one thing that we do that's unique and a huge benefit, I think, to our owners is that we're a full service real estate brokerage. So if a tenant comes in, we're telling them about that. We're saying, hey, are you thinking about purchasing a home at some point? We're finding out where they're feeling. So we're getting an idea of where they want to go in the future. But also, we actually care about them, and we value them beyond just sign this piece of paper and then we get to forget about you.
Right.
And also, we're attracting people who are heading in that direction, who are willing to and have the financial ability to purchase a home.
Right.
Which, if you've dealt with tenant world a lot, is going to be the top 10, 15% of tenants out there.
Right.
So it kind of is an extra advantage that gets our owners the best tenants that are out there. It gets us extra business as well. So in speaking to the agents, the methodology that I was proposing is something along the lines of when you meet somebody, explain to them the benefit of, us being a full service brokerage. So they start to understand, and it expands their vision a little bit, and it really puts some onus on us to do a better job too. Then after they move in, the week after, follow up, just check in, see how the move-in went, see that there aren't any major problems, see that they understand how to put work orders in if they need to be done. Because usually at move-in, you're going to find something as a tenant. You're going to find something you need to do, and you're continuing to stay in front of them. And again, showing they care, better customer service. Then again, at the month point,
better tenancy experience for our business. It's just
better for everybody.
Right. It's a win-win all the way.
Then at the 1 month period, we're circling back. Hopefully any initial problems were resolved. We're good to go, and they're setting off on their year-long or whatever the case may be tenancy. So again, we're staying in contact and seeing what their needs may be, and then checking in again at a 6 month point. And from there, we kind of extrapolate based from there. But my point is, by having that simple system, whether or not, that feels comfortable, 100% natural to you to check in that much and interact with people that much, I think that you can, it's almost impossible to deny that having a system like that, a framework, is going to produce a better result for everybody involved than just kind of dealing with it as it comes and trying to remember people and trying to put a strategy together that way.
Right.
And that's what so many people try to do. But as you can see, it wasn't very difficult. I'm not saying how you need to communicate with people. I'm not trying to limit the way that you express yourself. Right.
Yeah.
It's just anticipating needs, creating more customer service, and staying in front of people in a way that they want you to. So who I think is the best at this in our company right now is Nicole Murray. She is so fantastic.
Shout out Nicole.
Tenants love her. Tenants will keep renting from her forever, in perpetuity.
100%.
They want to work with her if they're buying a house. They want to work with her if they're renting. And I mean, she gets more positive reviews than I've ever seen anyone generate.
Yes, I 100% agree. Not only just the positive reviews or the stellar feedback that we get, but it really is what I like to call the VSM brand ambassador. And what that really means is somebody that, truly understands, lives and breathes our vision of who we are as a company and who we want to be as a company, which is very hard to instill somebody that came after the fact, 4 or 5 years later after we started, or even more. But she really is the embodiment of that, which is very hard to find. And we want to try to replicate over and over and over again.
No doubt. Shout out to Nicole. But the point that I was making there was that she is very, very good at doing this. And she kind of did this naturally. This is something that she developed on her own.
Right.
And it's something that we're trying to adapt and help other people do as well. So for me, that wouldn't be as natural.
Right. Me too.
I'm not super small talky. I always feel it feels forced to me if I'm like, hey, you like that? I too like that.
Right.
But for her,
and then let's
genuine.
talk about it.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, totally not me.
So the idea here, though, is that, again, what she did, what's working for her, is something that is easily adaptable, and it can be personalized to the individual, because you don't want to create some sort of insincerity as well.
Right.
But, I mean, you can take that idea and you can apply that to anything, right? If you're, say you're in an event planning business, which our guest Maggie Coble was and is killing it. But, if she set up a system that's just said, hey, every Tuesday, I'm going to reach out to 20 new businesses that I haven't spoken to. I'm going to try and talk to the owner, pitch them a little bit on my service. And every Friday, I'm going to go to a new networking event, meet a bunch of people that way, and see what kind of synergy I can, figure out with people. Doing that versus just kind of winging it, I mean, what do you think will produce a better result over the long term?
Right. Not winging it.
It's pretty obvious, right? So you need to have these processes put in place. So when I look at VSM, I look at investing in general, right? Because right now it's, what's the market doing? Is it going to go up, down? I think everyone thinks that it's going to go down sometime soon. So if you're planning and you're thinking about that in a real estate investing sense, I think number one, the question that no one's really asking, and I haven't spent a ton of time considering, is if the market adjusts downward and it's on a downward trajectory for an extended period of time, what is that going to look like? Because right now, the market has gone down. It's slowed down a little bit.
Right.
Normal. It's a seasonal adjustment. That's something that we expect. But how are we going to be able to differentiate between a seasonal adjustment, the normal one, and the beginning of the decline of the economy in general? So I think, and I don't have an answer, and I think that's something that we should all look at and think about. How is this actually going to look? What is this going to look like? When do we know, okay, now's the time, we want to finish up whatever projects we have, get them out of our portfolio, so we're ready to invest in the next 6 months, 8 months, or whatever. So to me, that's number one, is having a really, really good plan. And I think that's what separates people who are, average, below average, from the people who are just destroying the game.
Right.
Talent's only going to get you so far. You need a good, well-structured plan.
System. And I think a lot of people overthink what that system or plan needs to be or ought to be. They think it's something so complex when it could be something as simple as checking in once a week after move-in, and then checking in after 30 days after move-in, and checking in 6 months after move-in. It's like 3 things that you have to do. It's pretty rudimentary task. And, you mentioned with Maggie, Thursday, she reaches out to 20 businesses. Friday, she'll go on a networking event. Does that seem difficult that somebody would not be able to understand?
No. And you can continue to grow on it. You start simple and you grow.
Anyone can and should do it to create whatever the system is, that they feel comfortable with. And I also advise, a lot of people just give up after like a week or two, and they kind of, I called 100 people. No one said yes, so it must not be working. Well, no, actually, I think you just need to give it more time. Let let it soak in. Just like, our podcasts, our social media stuff, nothing was a hit. Like we didn't have a hit podcast that just, took off. We didn't have a hit vlog or a video or whatever. It was the consistency and the volume. And then with consistency and volume, really comes success.
Right. And the ability to strengthen your plan a little bit more.
So you just got to do it over and over repeatedly to get those hits. And this goes, you can see this in the regular world. Picasso, he doesn't have just like 10 great paintings. He made 1,000 shitty paintings.
Yeah.
Same with people who are huge, music stars, from Celine Dion to Jay-Z to Beyonce, who've been around for 20, 30 years, have, a bunch of albums and thousands of unreleased songs that didn't make it anywhere because they were not good enough, but the ones that did were good enough. And it was all about consistency and the sheer volume of work.
Yeah. And when you do have a plan established, again, this is something we touch on probably every other week at least. It's you have to follow through with what you said. It's the idea of going to the gym. I called 400 people before I had my first deal in real estate. If I'd have given up on person number 380, probably wouldn't be here right now.
Right.
So you have to look at it as the law of averages eventually works itself out and you do get the results. If you can logically say, if I did this, if I was comparing two separate people, the person that I am right now or what I'm doing right now, but also with this consistent stretch of planning that I have put in place. So, say it's going to a networking event every weekend. Who has the advantage? Who's more likely to do better? That's the mindset that you need to have and not worry about the specific result in a short-term sense.
Totally agree.
All right.
Let's get back to ping pong. I'm just kidding.
We're going back to playing ping pong, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. Please, please, please put a plan together. If you have a plan, if you have any ideas that you want to share, email me at Daniel@VSM Real Estate. I would love to talk about plans with you, and we can get into it in a little bit more detail. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next week.